Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. KALRATRI, the seventh day of Durga Puja, the divine night of Ajna Chakra. The greatest declaration I have ever read and known and appreciated is whenever there is a decline in dharma, righteousness, I take birth in Bharat to eliminate evil, unrighteousness and re-establish the divine design of nature. This is a declaration of the universal consciousness by and large. A result of that every human being who is the best in the world has to take many births, go through the cycle of learning, go through the death and rebirth and start as a higher and higher levels of consciousness. I see in all those Brahmins who wrote Vedas, Upanishads and scriptures. I think they were brilliant because they were in tune with universal consciousness. That's why Vedas are called Shruti, directly heard mantras from the universe, and that is the ultimate reality of life. Now coming to the question of Goddess Durga's creation. When there was too much of problem by all the Rakshasas, Asuras like Mahisasura and others, they started killing every human being, everything in all the three worlds of earth, Antariksh and heaven. And when everything was in defect, all the beings of the universe, they prayed to the nature to take birth in the form of Goddess Durga to save the people from all the atrocities. So that's how she was created, and I make it. All the universal consciousness mathematically designed. There is no human form otherwise controlling anything. It's a universal energy. And they created Goddess Durga to eliminate all the demons or all the defects, all the imperfect people in the world. I think that is the message which Sanatana Dharma gives it to the world. Now, the most beautiful thing is the form of Goddess Durga is shown with 18 arms. You can see in this picture very clear. And she is on the lion and she is killing Mahisasura as such, and all other asuras like Raktabij, etc., Chanda, Munda, etc., they were all killed by her three forms, particularly Kali as such, Chamundeshwari as such, and eliminate the whole thing. The very fact there are 18 arms in her, she literally represents to me Adi Prashakti, the greatest force. She is also with 18 arms. So is that 18 arms a mystery, or it is a divine design of this picture which Sanatana Dharma has given to the world as a mathematical design? And I see this as a reflection of periodic table. You can see the periodic table very clearly. There are two things in this. As far as periods are concerned, there are only 7. And as far as the groups are concerned, there are 18. And also how the atom size reduces in the same period and increases in lower periods. That's the most beautiful thing. That's why I feel very blessed that I am a scientist who understand divine mathematics, divine physics, divine chemistry, divine biology and divine medical sciences. And I am concerned only on those things which are the educational things the world needs. I am not concerned about other people who are studying other subjects because I cannot expect the wisdom from them. The wisdom is possible only from mathematicians, people who understand physics, people who understand chemistry, people who understand biology, and the people who understand medical sciences, human medical sciences particularly. Now the question is, after being created, eliminating all the demons, evils, and she dissolves the body on Vijayadashmi, and she takes the birth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, and then from there it comes to Trikuta mountain where she is meditating in the form of Mata Vaishno Devi to become Goddess Durga. Before that become Goddess Gayatri. Now you can see this is the shape of Akhand Bharat. She took birth in Kanyakumari, you can see the mark down, and from there she moves up to Trikuta, which is on the top of Akhand Bharat. And I really mean it, Trikuta mountain is a thing which you can literally call Himalayas on top. and she is there, and you're going to see that particular temple. Now you see the Trikuta mountain, you can see the picture very clear. All three mountains, I do know, they represent Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. And this is the divine mathematics in the form. You can see the clear in description all the three, and I'm thank the trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh represent Divyank, the divine design of nature, where 22 by 21 represents Brahma, 10 represents 10 stages of Vishnu at the Savtar, and 5 number 0.34419 represent Panchabhuta of Lord Shiva. These are the three divine mathematics in the picture which Sanatana Brahmins have given it to the world, and I believe they are greatest artists, and that as an artist this is representation, and to reduce the thing they have also converted the whole thing into divine mathematics, so that all the deficiencies of every language, including Sanskrit, is completely eliminated. Now come to the question of Mata Vaishnavi temple as a cave temple inside. There is a cave inside. There are three pindis or thing called Mahasaraswati, the left one, which is white aberrant color. She represents the purity and the goddess of knowledge. The second one has got a yellow color which speaks the wealth of gold and other thing, and also saffron color. She represents Lord Lakshmi, which is wealth which is absolutely essential. Knowledge is required, wealth is required. Then third is a Mahakali, the black color. She represents Shiva's consciousness, because everything comes from that, is maintained, that goes back to that. That's all the divine energies, all are dark, dark inert matter, like all the inert matter, like helium, neon, argon, krypton, etc., etc. Once this is understood, I knew very well these things are symbolic representation of nature, how to do things very well. Now come to the question of privilege of Mata Vaishnavi. Three pindis like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, like Trikuta mountain, is with the 5 and head thing right underneath, and all what divine energies with Vedas, Upanishads are talking about, all represented in the cave which I am witnessed since my childhood. And all the caves which have been made later, they do not represent that consciousness. Let us accept the fact people have unnecessarily destroyed the whole beauty of that particular place by making it commercial and letting anybody and everybody come to Mata Vaishnavi temple as a commercial organization was not objective. And I make it clear, this is not what she would have liked to be done to her image there, and not to be disturbed as such, and I am very clear on that part. Now come to the question of, there are 10 Mahavidyas which Sanatana Dharma is talking about. Their same Durga is shown with 10 forms. I am not getting to that, but I am only saying Mahavidya, the knowledge. There are 10 stages, like Shiva, Vishnu has got Dasavatar. Similarly, Durga also has got Dasa Avatar and Mahavidyas, and that is knowledge. And that is knowledge shown in 10 Vidyas which I am going to be talking about. Now come to the question of Mata Vaishnavi Devi is always shown with 8 arms. When she is shown with 8 arms, it represents that she has to be Agni Bhuta as a oxygen with 8 protons and 8 electrons as such. And she is meditating to become goddess Gayatri, that is with neon with a 10, and also to become Durga again with the 18. So her transformation from Mata Vaishnavi Devi, oxygen, to neon with a 10, to goddess Durga and Adi Prashakti with 18 is what she is doing, and I think she has done very well, and I am glad that I am her. I am sitting on her lap. She has allowed me to sit and guide me left, right and front. So whatever she has gained is passed on to me as her child, and I am just sharing that with the world with the kind of devotion for Mata Vaishnavi Devi which I have, for which I have taken birth in Katra, to be in her lap and move on with that. Now comes to the question of goddess Dasi with 10 erectron. What? High oxygen 8, neon 21 has got 10 protons, 11 neutrons and 10 things, and all the universal consciousness of the solar system right of spiral galaxy to solar system to the human being is from neon 21 also, and 9 neon 21 has come for argon 40. We'll go into that detail, but I've already done. But in this, what thing is, there are 10 protons, 11 neutrons and 10 electrons, which is equivalent to 31. If you divide 31 by 3, you come very close to 10.34419. And also when I talk, these are the chakras, and 10 plus 344 into 10 plus 34419 is equivalent to 108. That is another divine universal consciousness which I have told about it. There are central chakras are 10 plus 344, but total there are 108 chakras with the human body. Same thing with the solar system, same thing with spiral galaxy, same thing with the universal consciousness. And then come to the question of the first thing, the goddess Shailputri is the first thing. She is the daughter of Himalaya king, and Himalaya king is known only for Himalayan ice. Himalayan ice is a solid form of Amrit, and she represents the first thing. That means she is showing solid element of 38.1966%. So the first thing is the solid form with which the body is thing, and she is going to evolve from there. So we have come to the stage when the body, you go to sleep and be in a solid element, which every cell contains only 38 point of solid matter, remaining 61.80344 is the water element, which is the sex stage in Swadhisthana chakra. Now in this particular picture I have shown the earth element, which is solid, and that is what 38.196 is. If you are looking at divine mathematics, physics, chemistry and science, then you have to go to Sanatana Dharmas, these things which talk of only mathematics, because ultimate knowledge has to be in mathematically designed. Now come to the question of shape of Muladhara chakra. Then Sat chakra Nirupana is the first top. Second thing, Akhand, which I am talking about. Third is the neuroanatomy, which once these three things are understood, you will find Muladhara chakra is solid and connected with 4 petals of 4 coccyx in the bottom as such. And there are 4 nerves, 2 Ida and Pingala and 2 going to the legs. I think that is very clear. Now come to the question of second is Brahmachari. When I say Brahmachari is a person who is a character, who is a home thing, who knows everything perfectly. For that matter, every male is abundant in testosterone, and when this abundant in testosterone, that means person will be muscular, would have skeletal muscles, smooth muscles and other muscles. Also, intelligence into converted estradiol through aromatization, and the person who is able to convert testosterone in estradiol through aromatization is more brilliant, more intuitive and more in universal consciousness. It's a man who has to rise. But females are already at higher level because in them estradiol is a natural process. They are brilliant in brain, they work very well, very well. These are men who need to learn from Shakti. Not Shakti has to learn from men. Shakti can give anything provided you are in tune with Shakti. When you are not in tune with Shakti, with respect, and that is what Sanatana Dharma gives most importance to the girls, sisters, brothers, Mr. all, everything in the female form is given more respect than male. And unless until every male understands that you have to worship females, then only you can rise. I think that is the beautiful thing in Brahmachari. It's a male who has to be Brahm, great character. Then he will be able to get wisdom from Divine Mother, Mata Vaishno Devi, Adi Prashakti, Gayatri, other thing, and learn from her because the knowledge she is given. And same thing which she is already is a great character. But you have to respect her and ask her to give you that. And once that is understood, you are much higher level of consciousness. Second thing, Sat Chakra Nirvana's picture with 6 and Lam to warm, and also this and neuroscience is very clear. This is what ojas for the physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health and other thing. The whole thing comes from Swadhisthana Chakra only. Muladhara Chakra, it sleeps, it distributes, it maintains health, wealth, wisdom, happy. But for evolution, it is Swadhisthana which gives you the energy as the ojas to tejas. Now, when ojas becomes tejas, testosterone to aromatization to estrogen, that energy gets inside, surround the brain and spinal cord, and that is Vani Nadi within Sushumna Nadi, so well described by Satchakra Nirupana. When it comes to that only, then you take the form of mace, Hanuman Gada. And once you achieve, you could be physically very strong, very intelligent, very intuitive, and you will be devoted to the God. Hanuman was devoted to Ram, and I am devoted to Mata Vaishnavi. And this is only the people who are muscularly strong, very intelligent, very intuitive, who can do wonders, who are the one who will get it with Ojas to Tejas. I think that is only comes from Swadhisthana. That is a great character. It's not Brahmacharni or Brahmachar. It's a Brahmachar, great nature. That's it. Then come to the Kanta Chandra Ghanta, which is third day of Durga Puja. From solid element to water element, you come to the Agni element and you revolve to Nabhi Chakra, which is adrenal gland. And in adrenal gland, it can give you all the thing come what may. In any emergency, you will survive. Because the first layer of adrenal cortex will give you mineral corticoid, water and sodium and electrolyte balance. Second one will glucose and secretions. The third one will give you testosterone, estrogen, then symptomatic hormones or catecholamine, adrenaline. Because once this is absolutely well done, then you, and in the process, the whole structure of adrenal gland is so beautiful. That is where you have to appraise how divine nature has given you wonderful thing. And also the picture of Nabhi Chakra with 10 petals and energy coming down, that is Agni coming down. And same thing in Akhand picture and thing. Once that is understood that you are rising mathematically, physics, chemistry and medical sciences to higher and higher levels. Then come to the question of fourth as Kushmanda. The fourth day of Durga Puja, the science of Manipura Chakra, which is associated with digestion. Now you are come to, first you are in coccyx, second in sacrum, third is the lumbar vertebrae. Now you come to the sixth part of the thoracic vertebrae from which the centers for digestion come up, and that is Manipura Chakra. Sat Chakra Nirupana does not talk of Manipura, it talks of only Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Nabhi so far, but I have added this to show because this is most important for digestion. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion are the 5 parts of digestion. Once that is understood, you know why it is absolutely essential to have enough water, nutrition, all the electrolytes, all the vitamins, all the things which are required for sustenance of the body comes from Manipura Chakra only. Then come to the question how that is associated with liver, spleen as well as pancreas, also with the digestive system and also the lower part of thoracic 6. And once this is understood, you have know how to is going to make you dynamic. Without water, you could not be dynamic. If you are depriving yourself water and not taking water, you can never be dynamic. And only people who are dynamic can be energetic, can be effective, can be intelligent, not otherwise. I make that also point very clear as a scientist. Then come to the Skand Matha is the 5th day of Durga Puja, and here from solid element to water element to the Agni, you come to the Vayu air element, and that is what Anahata Chakra, the heart chakra, which is there in the center. Once to that you come, you realize the beauty of Vayu. That means you know the gases. In this picture, you can see Anahata Chakra is the endocrine gland thymus, in whom the thymus is very clear, even in 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100 plus plus plus. Thymus will remain active, it will never deteriorate. As a result, you will have a fantastic cell immunity, antigen, antibiotic formation, and you will never fall sick. Any infection can come and go, nothing will go wrong. Any damage nothing can go. Once you come to this stage, 5th stage, you are absolutely at a higher level, are being protected, shielded and guided. When come to the question of this particular center in the heart, that is the center for prana energy. That means absorption of oxygen 100% from the atmosphere, and you maintain 100% in the blood in capillaries, even in the remoted part of the body. Once that is done, is second. Second thing is this oxygen with the help of carbohydrates converted into carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide has to be expelled out. When come to the prana, prana is 61.8034% of the carbon dioxide is expelled, remaining is maintained for formation of acid in the stomach and kidneys, and also alkaline medium in so-called pancreas, and that is what maintains a pH level of 7.4. The human body is alkaline in nature, not acidic. Acidic nature will create all the problems in the lungs and otherwise. Once that is understood, you have come to much higher level of evolution as moving up. Then come to the question of Katyayani, the 6th day of Durga Puja. That is again solid element, water element, Agni, Vayu. Now you come to the 4th stage, which is energy or inner heat, which is there in Vishuddhi Chakra. And Vishuddhi Chakra is known for producing heat. And I am going to show that why that is the next stage of evolution to take on the next stage. When come to this particular stage, you have come to Vishuddhi Chakra with 16 petals and hum sound, and that is what, but it is associated with Nilkant, blue throat. And once you understand blue throat mean that hala hala which was there, this came in the form of iodine, and iodine is absorbed into thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormone, which is absolutely essential to maintain the body's temperature, so that whether in summer you will not be troubled by heat, and in winter you will not trouble by cold. The tolerance to cold and heat both is done by thyroid hormone when it's perfect. When thyroid hormone is less, you will have a cold problem. When thyroid hormone is too much, you will have the heat problem. To maintain the heat, Vishuddhi Chakra plays very important role, and I think that is a lesson you have to learn as we go up in consciousness. Now in this picture they have shown the picture again very clearly how iodine is absorbed in converting to thyroid hormone to produce thermogenic temperature. That is what tapasya is all about. Once that is understood, you know thyroid and parathyroid for calcium, phosphate and energy, but you are 1,000 times better. That means you are having to balance, and you have to make sure what are the elements are required. The body gets it, only then these things can be formed. So anyone who is not taking iodine correctly could have a goiter problem. So you have to take iodine, you have to take calcium, everything has to be absorbed, and that is what you go to the next stage. Now come to the question of subject for the day is KALRATRI, the 7th day of Durga Puja. That is divine night of Ajna Chakra, the next stage up to which Sat Chakra Nirupana is talking about. Sat Chakra Nirupana is talking on only 6 chakras, and that means the 7th day is only up to 6 chakras and 6 goddesses put together. You come to that stage where Gyan comes to a real. So literally from solid element to the water element to the Agni to the Vayu, the inner heat, you come to the stage of understanding. You have complete the lower knowledge within yourself completely, and that's what Satchakra Narapana is talking only reptilian brain of the autonomic nervous system, endocrine gland, which has inner part. And I think once that is understood, science and spirituality come together as the one, as a spiritual scientist. Only then you can go to the next stage thereafter. Now in this particular picture, Satchakra Nirupana's picture you can see, and Shibhushan Sharma's picture you can see, and that is closely associated with anterior and posterior pituitary. And this is a center where stimulating hormones are produced by anterior, and posterior is for oxytocin and ADH. Once that is understood, you are perfectly healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. Up to this, Satchakra Nirupana talks of only 6 chakras, not more than that. Now comes to the question of this Sat Chakra. There are 2, and this talks of only 2 petals, and there are only 2 sounds, Ha, Asham, and the Bij mantra is Hum. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Hamsa and Om. You come to this stage very clearly. Once you come to that stage, you can see the Trikuta which is falling down, things arise at once. This is understood. I think you know very well how to move on to the next stage. For up to this, check the best activate book is Sat Chakra Nirupana. And that's it. We are literally come to the end of Sat Chakra Nirupana's 6 chakras, which I would call into 7 chakras with Ajna Chakra, up to KALRATRI. Now I am going to explain something concept which very clear. First I said 10 Mahavidyas. Now here I am talking about in Navagraha or Navavidya or Navaratri. Here you can only see this. Out of these 7 I have already explained. You can see those pictures very clearly from Shailputri to KALRATRI as such clearly. 2 you are going to see as we go to the next two stages and then go to the 10th later. But I am introducing another thing called Navagraha, 9 planets by and large, which the whole Sanatana Dharma has. Universe talks of only 7 days, but Sanatana Dharma talking of 9. So same 7 plus 2, Rahu and Ketu are added. You can see the picture very clearly. Now I am going to show the spiritual science of 9 heavenly planets of the solar system, what they mean to us and what is their connection with different levels of consciousness within us, because human body is connected with the autonomic nervous system, is connected with endocrine system, is connected with nervous system. It is also connected with heavenly bodies in the solar system and also to spiral galaxy, and there are all things are connected. No wonder human being is the best representation of universal consciousness, individual consciousness, only possible in human beings, not anywhere else in the world. Once you come to that stage, you can see this picture very, very clear. Now we are going to understand, and this is a form in temples, what each one stands. I am going to show you that 9 things and give you a wonder. This is the kind of spiritual science which Sanatana Dharma talked about it. That's the only thing which give you divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, another thing. That's the only thing we can rectify all the defects of education throughout the world, which the world has spoiled. We need to go back to Ved, Upanishads and scriptures and say, this is the knowledge which is required, which Brahmins were giving it. It's a Brahman again is going to give you that very clearly. Now comes the question of first thing which comes to the mind is sun, which is the center of Navagraha. And that is connected with Surya, sun god and other thing. And that is the presiding deity. Without the sun, nothing can work on the earth, or there cannot be life without sun. So sun is the one which gives you photosynthesis, also the thing to improve from mineral kingdom to plant kingdom to animal kingdom to human kingdom is possible only with the help of sun alone. That's why the center of everything starts on Sunday with sun, Surya, Aditya as such. That's the first important part. Second thing is comes the Monday, the moon, a chand. That is close associated with Mother Earth and is surrounded. Once come that you have the reflection of that in the moon, and moon can give you the thing. So on Purnima there will be full light during a day, and Amavasya only daytime, not at night. I think that clear system. And so the Monday is with the moon, Sunday is with sun. So first 2 things very clear. Then come to the Tuesday is the Mars or Mangal. That's the 4th planet from the sun and its outer inner planet, and right up to the 4 outer inner solid planets, it had 97% carbon dioxide to start with, but is the only earth because of sun, because of mineral content converting into this photosynthesis to the plant kingdom, to the animal kingdom, the whole structure has changed, which is not the life in other 3 things. That is the beauty in this particular thing. So Tuesday we see Mangal, where carbon dioxide is converted, not converted into oxygen as such, but earth has. We are going to talk about it as we move on. Then come to the Wednesday is the Mercury is the first planet after sun, and that is Wednesday, and that is symbol of symbolism. You can see now you have seen Sunday, you have seen moon, you have seen Mars, and you have seen now Mercury. Now the Jupiter is the Guru or Thursday, is the 5th planet for sun. This is what is the science of intelligence as you move on. Once you understand that is, they are going to God level only in Jupiter, that is Brihaspati, and once that is understood, you are leaving to the earth. So this all the gods and goddesses, Veda, Upanishads and scriptures are talking about, they are giving the wisdom which the world needs it. Not the rubbish which is taught from school, college, university, in all the things including Nobel laureates are defective. We need to correct it. Now comes to the Friday is the Shukracharya, is the Venus, is connected with the symbol of love and so-called Brahmacharya, and that is for procreation as such. And without procreation, the human beings have not completed their life. And I want every man and woman to be married with Dharma Viva or Gandharva Viva and proceed very well to procreation and move on. Once that is done, I think you are better on evolution of intelligence. Now come to the Saturn is the 7th day in that. This is the last big planet which can affect on the earth, and that is only Saturn, and Saturn goes around for 30 years in cycled around the sun, and that is astronomy very clear. Once that is understood, you will know very well what is the. Now we have talked about 7 days: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 7 days are, and why these 7 days are universally accepted? Because the same series 7 object can be seen by everybody on the earth moving in the solar system. That is what the consistency is. That is the divine method where the west, east, north and south agree. These are 7 days, 7 planets. There is no confusion. That is the consistency we are talking about. That is universally accepted. Now comes the question of India has given more than that. It doesn't say 7 days, it says 11 days. So something, there are two things is Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is the head and there is no days associated with that. But there is a science in it. Public view is that is a positive polarity of the moon, and I don't agree with that. And I am very clear Rahu is associated with earth element. Earth element is not seen as earth element in Navagraha, but without earth we cannot be complete. So Rahu is the earth element as such, shown as a Rahu as a polarity, but actually it means it is the third planet, earth as a Rahu, not anything else. So again you have brought earth also into the picture, which 7 days on which we are sitting actually. I think that is the brilliant part of Navagraha and Navaratri, and I think that is it understood. Then come to the Ketu. There is a body parts which talking about, that is Kalratri or what. There is no date mentioned. Public image is a negative polarity of the moon, but I don't agree with it. It is associated with asteroid belt, a space well defined between Mars and Jupiter in the universe. And I make one thing very clearly, as I said, in Ajna Chakra, so such Chakra not of 2, but I do know it is not 2, it is 28. The distance from sun to the asteroid belt is 420 million kilometers. When they are divided by 15 kilometers is 28 times, and that's it. And once that it is, that means Ketu is asteroid belt. So in other words, we have created the 9 part, not 7 parts, which world talks about. So Earth as a Rahu and asteroid belt at Ketu, you have literally a beautiful sequence from Sun to Mercury to the Venus to the Earth to Moon to Mars to asteroid belt to Jupiter and to Saturn. Once that is understood, this is the mathematics which Navagraha or Navadurga and Navaratris talked about it. I think that is the science which is required, not confusion, no bonded with idiotic misconfirmation at all. Now come to the question, same thing in Sri Chakra also. You can see the sun in the middle, you can see 4 planets inside, 4 outside. These are the 9 things you can see in that place, but sun is the center. And once this is understood, I think you're very clear. The 9 thing of Navagraha is 7 days plus earth and this. Once that is done, you can see right at the bottom you have Ketu and Rahu. And once that is understood, you understand the beauty of whole Sri Chakra and also Vastu Shastra, the way the holes has to be represented and done. And once that is done, I think you are in a much better way of evolving to higher and higher intelligence and intuition in the universal consciousness. And in this picture now you have come to very clearly that these are the 9s where earth is as mother element, as you can see the bottom right hand down, and Ketu on the left side this, and 7 days. Once this is understood, you understand the whole thing very clearly. Once that is understood, you are literally going to the higher and higher levels of consciousness to move on very well to the universal one. This is what the knowledge the world needs it. And once it's done, I think you understand Kalratri is asteroid belt, is between the space between Mars and Jupiter, and that is you come to the stage, and that cannot be staged. That is exactly what is dark matter, inert matter as meteorites. I think this is where science and spirituality coming close, and once that is, we can go to the next stage much better off. From that you come into this stage. Let me not talk about it. It's enough for the day. And having done that, we will present it. Then we will go to the 8th stage, and then we talk about the 9th and 10th, and then we will start to the first stage step by step as how the nature unfolded. I think that's enough for the time. Thank you very, very much.